Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare 2020 LA. Shakespeare 2020 LA is the Los Angeles division of Shakespeare Project 2020, a worldwide challenge created by Ian Desher to read the entire Shakespeare canon in 2020. We're comprised of Los Angeles professional actors. Our reading today is Henry IV, Part 2, and our players are Jason Rennie, Christopher Carbo, Taylor Marr, Sasha Venn, Megan Wells, Ron Dorn, Emily Vasilos, Chris Klein, Emily Hall, Caitlin McCormick, John Eddings, Elizabeth Juvenal, Lucas Nelson, Michael Burkhart, Vincent Aclavaya, and I'm Mary Carrick. One of the many blessings of tackling the entire canon this year has been getting to know the characters in not just a linear way, but as their character, personality, relationships, and their allegiances shift and develop. As we wrap up Henry IV this week, leading up to Henry V next week, seemingly minor characters arise, yet I can't help but feel the pathos for dear Davy and his upcoming fate, and all that will face similar challenges and endings as we progress through the story. As actors, I can feel our collective artistic muscles strengthening. Many of our players were present on day one when we began the first week of January with Twelfth Night. And just as Shakespeare's characters weaves themselves in and out of his stories, we are living our own shifts and developments. And I'm really excited to see how this Olympic event we have undertaken will unfold with new beginnings. So pull up your familiar easy chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy William Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 2.
Open your ears, for which of you will stop the vent of hearing when loud rumor speaks? I, from the Orient to the drooping West, making the wind my post horse, still unfold the acts commenced on this ball of earth. Upon my tongues continual slanders ride, the which in every language I pronounce, stuffing the ears of men with false reports. I speak of peace while covert enmity, under the smile of safety, wounds the world. And who but rumor, who but only I, make fearful musters and prepared defense, whiles the big ear, swollen with some other grief, is thought with child by the stern tyrant War, and no such matter. Rumor is a pipe, blown by surmises, jealousies, conjectures, and of so easy and so plain a stop, that the blunt monster with uncounted heads, the still discordant wavering multitude, can play upon it. But what need I thus my well-known body to anatomize among my household? Why is rumor here? I run before King Henry's victory, who in a bloody field by Shrewsbury hath beaten down young Hotspur and his troops, quenching the flame of bold rebellion even with the rebels' blood. But what mean I to speak so true at first? My office is to noise abroad that Harry Monmouth fell under the wrath of noble Hotspur's sword, and that the king before the Douglas rage stooped his anointed head as low as death. This have I rumored through the peasant towns between the royal field of Shrewsbury and this worm-eaten hold of ragged stone, where Hotspur's father, old Northumberland, lies crafty sick. The posts come tiring on, and not a man of them brings other news than they have learnt of me. From rumor's tongues they bring smooth comforts false, worse than true wrongs.
Act 1, Scene 1. Northumberland, Warkworth Castle. Enter the Lord Bardolph.
Who keepeth the gate here, ho? Where is the Earl?
What shall I say you are?
Tell thou the Earl that Lord Bardolph doth attend him here.
His lordship is walked forth into the orchard. Please it your lord, knock at the gate, and he himself will answer.
Here comes the Earl.
What news, Lord Bardolph? Every minute now should be the father of some stratagem. The times are wild. Contention, like a horse full of high feeding, madly hath broke loose and bears down all before him.
Noble Earl, I bring you certain news from Shrewsbury.
Good, and God will?
As good as heart can wish. The king is almost wounded to the death. And in the fortune of my lord, your son, Prince Harry, slain outright. And both the Blunts killed by the hand of Douglas, young Prince John, and Westmoreland, and Stafford fled the field, and Harry's Monmouth brawn, the Hulk, Sir John, is prisoner to your son. Oh, such a day, so fought, so followed, and so fairly won, came not till now to dignify the times since Caesar's fortunes.
How is this derived? Saw you the field? Came you from Shrewsbury?
I spake with one, my lord, that came from thence, a gentleman well bred and of good name, that freely rendered me these news for true.
Ah, here comes my servant Travers, who I sent on Tuesday last to listen after news.
My lord, I o'errode him on the way, and he's furnished with no certainties, more than he happily retail from me.
Now, Travers, what good tidings comes with you?
My lord, Sir John Umfreville turned me back with joyful tidings, and being better horsed, outrode me. After him came spurring hard a gentleman, almost forespent with speed, that stopped by me to breathe his bloodied horse. He asked me the way to Chester, and of him I did demand what news from Shrewsbury. He told me that rebellion had bad luck, and that young Harry Percy Spur was cold. With that, he gave his able horse the head, and bending forward, struck his armored heels against the panting sides of his poor jade up to the rowel head, and starting so, he seemed in running to devour the way, staying no longer at question.
Huh? Again, said he young Harry Percy Spur was cold? Of Hotspur cold spur? That rebellion had met ill luck?
My lord, I'll tell you what. If my young lord, your son, have not the day, upon my honor for a silken point, I'll give my barony. Never talk of it.
Why should that gentleman that rode by Travers give then such instances of loss?
Who, he? He was some hilding fellow that had stolen a horse he rode on, and upon my life speak at adventure. Oh, look, here comes more news.
Oh, yea. This man's brow, like to a title leaf, foretells the nature of a tragic volume. So looks the strand whereon the imperious flood had left a witnessed usurpation. Say, Morton, didst thou come from Shrewsbury?
Ran from Shrewsbury, my noble lord, where hateful death put on his ugliest mask to fright our party.
How doth my son and brother? Oh, thou tremblest, and the whiteness in thy cheek is apter than thy tongue to tell thy errand. E'en such a man, so faint, so spiritless, so dull, so dead in look, so woebegone, drew Priam's curtain in the dead of night, and would have told him half his Troy was burnt. But Priam found the fire ere he his tongue, and I my Percy's death ere thou reportst it. This, thou wouldst say, your son did thus and thus, your brother thus, and so fought the noble Douglas, stooping my greeting ear with their bold deeds, but in the end, to stop my ear indeed, thou hast a sigh to blow away this praise, ending with brother, son, all are dead.
Douglas is living, and your brother yet, but, oh my lord, your son.
He is dead. See what a ready tongue suspicion hath. He that but fears the thing he would not know hath by instinct knowledge from others' eyes, that what he feared is chanced. Yet Speak, Morton. Tell thou an earl his divination lies, and I will take it as a sweet disgrace and make thee rich for doing me such wrong.
You are too great to be by me gainsayed. Your spirit is too true, your fears too certain.
Yet, for all this, say not that Percy's dead. I see a strange confession in thine eye. Thou shakes thy head, and hold'st it fear or sin to speak a truth. If he be slain, say so. The tongue offends not that reports his death. And he doth sin that doth belie the dead, not he which says the dead is not alive. Yet the first bringer of unwelcome news hath but a losing office, and his tongue sounds ever after as a sullen bell remembered tolling a departing friend.
I cannot think, my lord. Your son is dead.
I am sorry I should force you to believe that which I would to God I had not seen, but these my eyes saw him in bloody state, rendering fate credence wearied and outbreathed. To Harry Monmouth, whose swift wrath beat down the never daunted Percy to the earth, from whence with life he never more sprung up. In view his death, whose spirit lent a fire even to the dullest peasant in his camp, being brute at once, took fire and heat away from the best-tempered courage in his troops. For from his nettle was his party steeled, which, once in him abated, all the rest turned on themselves, like dull and heavy lead. And as the thing that's heavy in itself upon horsemen flies with greatest speed, so did our men. Heavy in Hotspur's loss lend to this weight such lightness with their fear that arrows fled not swifter towards their aim than did our soldiers, aiming at their safety, fly from the field. Then was that noble Worcester so soon ta'en prisoner, and that furious Scot, the bloody Douglas, whose well-laboring sword hath 3 times slain the appearance of the king, gan veil his stomach and did grace the shame of those that turned their backs, and in his flight, stumbling in fear, was took. The sum of all is that the king hath won, and hath sent out a speedy power to encounter you, my lord, under the conduct of young Lancaster and Westmoreland. This is the news at full.
For this I shall have time enough to mourn. In poison there is physic. In these news, having been well, that would have made me sick. Being sick, have in some measure made me well. And as the wretch whose fever-weakened joints like strengthless hinges buckle under life, impatient of his fit, breaks like a fire out of his keeper's arms, e'en so my limbs weakened with grief, being now enraged with grief, are thrice themselves. Hence, therefore, nice crutch, a scaly gauntlet now with joints of steel must glove this hand, and hence, thou sickly coif, thou art a guard too wanton for the head which princes, fleshed with conquest, aim to hit. Now bind my brows with iron, and approach the raggedest hour that time and spite dare bring to frown upon the enraged Northumberland. Let heaven kiss earth. Now let not nature's hand keep the wild flood confined. Let order die, and let this world no longer be a stage to feed contention in a lingering act, but let one spirit of the firstborn Cain reign in all bosoms. That each heart, being set on bloody courses, the rude scene may end, and darkness be the barrier of the dead.
This strained passion doth you wrong, my lord.
Sweet Earl, divorce not wisdom from your honor. The lives of all your loving accomplices lean on your health, the which, if you give o'er to stormy passion, must perforce decay. You cast the vent of war, my noble lord, and sunned the accompt of chance before you said, let us make head. It was your presurmise that in the dole of blows your son might drop. You knew he walked over perils on an edge, more likely to fall in them than to get o'er. You were advised his flesh was capable of wounds and scars, and that his forward spirit would lift him where most trade of danger ranged. Yet did you say, go forth, and none of this, though strongly apprehended, could restrain the stiff-born action. What hath then befallen, or what did this bold enterprise bring forth, more than that being which was like to be?
We all that are engaged to this loss knew that we ventured on such dangerous seas, that if the wronged out life 'twas 10-1, and yet we ventured for the gain proposed, choked the respect of likely peril feared. And since we are set the venture again, come we will all put forth body and goods.
'Tis more than time, and my most noble lord, I hear for certain and dare speak the truth. The gentle Archbishop of York is up with well-appointed powers. He is a man who with a double surety binds his followers. My lord, your son had only but the corpse, but shadows and the shows of men to fight. For that same word, rebellion, did divide the action of their bodies, and they did fight with queasiness, constrained as men drink potions, that the weapons only seemed on our side. But for their spirits and souls, this word, rebellion, it had froze them up as fish are in a pond. But now, the bishop turns insurrection to religion. He's supposed sincere and holy in his thoughts. He's followed both with body and with mind, and doth enlarge his rising with the blood of fair King Richard, scraped from Pomfret stones, derives from heaven his quarrel and his cause, tells them he doth bestride a bleeding land, gasping for life under great Bolingbroke, and more or less do flock to follow him.
I knew of this before, but to speak truth, the present grief had wiped it from my mind. Go in with me and counsel every man the aptest way for safety and revenge. Get posts and letters, and make friends with speed. Never so few, and never yet more need. Act 1, Scene 2. A street in London. Enter Sir John Falstaff with his page.
Sirrah, you giant, what says the doctor to my water?
He said, sir, the water itself was a good, healthy water, but for the party that owed it, he might have more diseases than he knew for.
Men of all sorts take a pride to gird at me. The brain of this foolish compounded clay man is not able to invent anything that intends to laughter more than I invent or is invented on me. I am not only witty in myself, but the cause that wit is in other men. I do here walk before thee like a sow that hath o'erwhelmed all her litter but one. If the prince put thee into my service for any other reason than to set me off, why then I have no judgment. Thou whoreson mandrake, thou art fitter to be worn in my cap than to wait at my heels. I was never manned with an agate till now, but I will inset you neither in gold nor silver, but in vile apparel, and send you back again to your master for a jewel. The juvenile, the prince your master, whose chin is not yet fledged. I will sooner have a beard grow in the palm of my hand than he shall get one off his cheek. And yet he will not stick to say his face is a face royal. God may finish it when he will. 'Tis not a hair amiss yet. He may keep it still at a face royal, for a barber shall ne'er earn sixpence out of it, and yet he'll be crowing as if he had writ man ever since his father was a bachelor. He may keep his own grace, but he's almost out of mine, I can assure him. What said Master Dumbleton about the satin for my short cloak and my slops?
He said, sir, you should procure him better assurance than Bordolph. He would not take his band and yours. He liked not the security.
Well, let him be damned like the glutton. Pray God his tongue be hotter. A horse on Ashitofel, a rascally yea forsooth knave, to bear a gentleman in hand and then stand upon security. The horse on smoothie pates do now wear nothing but high shoes and bunches of keys at their girdles. And if a man is through with them in honest taking up, then they must stand upon security. I had as lief they would put rat's bane in my mouth as offered to stop it with security. I looked he should have sent me 22 yards of satin, as I am a true knight, and he sends me security. Well, he may sleep in security, for he hath the horn of abundance, and the lightness of his wife shines through it, and yet cannot he see, though he have his own lantern to light him. Where's Baldolph?
He's gone in Smithfield to buy your worship a horse.
I bought him in Paul's, and he'll buy me a horse in Smithfield. And I could get me but a wife in the stews, I were manned, horsed, and wived.
Oh, sir, here comes the nobleman that committed the prince for striking him about Bordolph.
Wait close, I will not see him.
What's he that goes there?
Falstaff, and please your lordship.
He that was in question for the robbery?
He, my lord, but he hath since done good service at Shrewsbury, and as I hear, is now going with some charge to the Lord John of Lancaster.
What? To York? Call him back again.
Sir John Falstaff.
Boy, tell him I am deaf.
You must speak louder. My master is deaf.
I am sure he is to the hearing of anything good. Go pluck him by the elbow. I must speak with him.
Sir John Falstaff.
What? A young knave and begging? Is there not wars? Is there not employment? Doth not the king lack subjects? Do not the rebels need soldiers? Though it be a shame to be on any side but one, it is a worse shame to beg than to be on the worst side. Were it worse, then the name of rebellion can tell how to make it.
You mistake me, sir.
Why, sir? Did I say you were an honest man? Setting my knighthood and my soldiership aside, I had lied in my throat if I had said so.
I pray you, sir, then set your knighthood and your soldiership aside, and give me leave to tell you, you lie in your throat, if you say I am any other than an honest man.
I give thee leave to tell me so. I lay aside that which grows to me. If thou gettest any leave of me, hang me. If thou takest leave, thou wert better be hanged. You hunt counter, hence, avaunt.
Sir, my lord would speak with you.
Sir John Falstaff, a word with you?
Oh, my good Lord. God give your lordship good time of the day. I'm glad to see your lordship abroad. I heard your lordship was sick. I hope your lordship goes abroad by advice. Your lordship, though not clean past your youth, have yet some smack of an ague in you, some relish of the saltness of time in you, and I must humbly beseech your lordship to have a reverend care of your health.
Sir John, I sent for you before your expedition to Shrewsbury.
Oh, and it please your lordship, I hear his majesty is returned with some discomfort from Wales.
Talk not of his majesty. You would not come when I sent for you.
And I hear, moreover, his highness is fallen into the same whoreson apoplexy.
Well, God mend him. I pray you let me speak with you.
This apoplexy, as I take it, is a kind of lethargy, and it please your lordship, a kind of sleeping in the blood, a whoreson tingling.
What tell you me of it? Be it as it is.
It hath its original from much grief, from study and perturbation of the brain. I have read the cause of his effects in Galen. It is a kind of deafness.
I think you have fallen into the disease, for you hear not what I say to you.
Very well, my lord, very well. Rather, an it please you, it is a disease of not listening, the malady of not marking, that I am troubled withal.
Punish you by the heels would amend the attention of your ears, and I care not if I do not become your physician.
I am as poor as Job, my lord, but not so patient. Your lordship may minister the potion of imprisonment to me in respect of poverty, but how I should be your patient to follow your prescriptions, the wise may make some dram of a scruple, or indeed a scruple of itself.
I sent for you when there were matters against you for your life, to come and speak with me.
As I was then advised by my learned counsel in the laws of this land service, I did not come.
Well, the truth is, Sir John, you live in great infamy.
He that buckles himself in my belt cannot live in less.
Your means are slender, and your waist is great.
I would it were otherwise. I would my means were greater, and my waist slenderer.
You have misled the youthful prince.
The young prince hath misled me. I am the fellow with the great belly, and he my dog.
Well, I am loath to gall a new healed wound. Your day's service at Shrewsbury hath a little gilded over your night's exploit on Gad's Hill. You may think the unquiet time for your quite overposting that action.
My lord.
But since all is well, keep it so. Wake not a sleeping wolf.
To wake a wolf is as bad as to smell a fox.
What? You are as a candle, the better part burnt out.
A wassail candle, my lord, and all tallow. If I did say of wax, my growth would approve the truth.
There is not a white hair in your face, but should have its effect on gravity.
His effect of gravy, gravy, gravy.
You follow the young prince up and down like his ill angel.
Not so, my lord. Your ill angel is light, but I hope he that looks upon me will take me without weighing. And yet in some respects I grant I cannot go. I cannot tell. Virtue is of so little regard in these costermonger times that true valor is turned bear-herd. Pregnancy is made a tapster, and hath his quick wit wasted in giving reckonings. All the other gifts appurtenant to man, as the malice of this age shapes them, are not worth a gooseberry. You that are old consider not the capacities of us that are young. You do measure the heat of our livers with the bitterness of your galls, and we that are in the varward of our youth, I must confess, are wags too.
Do you set down your name in the scroll of youth that are written down old with all the characters of age? Have you not a moist eye, a dry hand, a yellow cheek, a white beard, a decreasing leg, an increasing belly? Is not your voice broken, your wind short, your chin double, your wit single, and every part of you blasted with antiquity? And will you yet call yourself young? Fie, Sir John.
My lord, I was born about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, with a white head and something a round belly. For my voice I have lost it with hallooing and singing of anthems. To prove my youth further, I will not. The truth is, I am only old in judgment and understanding. And he that will caper with me for 1,000 marks, let him lend me the money and have at him. For the box of the ear that the prince gave you, he gave it like a rude prince, and you took it like a sensible lord. I have checked him for it, and the young lion repents. Merely not in ashes and sackcloth, but in new silk and old sack.
Well, God send the prince a better companion.
God send the companion a better prince. I cannot rid my hands of him.
Well, the king hath severed you and Prince Harry. I hear you are going with Lord John of Lancaster against the Archbishop and the Earl of Northumberland.
Yea, I thank your pretty sweet wit for it. But look you, pray, all you that kiss my lady peace at home, that our armies join not in a hot day. For by the Lord, I take but 2 shirts out with me, and I mean not to sweat extraordinarily. If it be a hot day and I brandish anything but a bottle, I might not never spit white again. There is not a dangerous action can peep out his head, but I am thrust upon it. I cannot last forever. But it was always yet the trick of our English nation, if they have a good thing, to make it too common. If you will need say I am an old man, you should give me rest. I would to God my name were not so terrible to the enemy as it is. It were better to be eaten to death with a rust than to be scoured to nothing with perpetual motion.
Well, be honest, and God bless your expedition.
Will your lordship lend me £1,000 to furnish me forth?
Not a penny, not a penny. You are too impatient to bear crosses. Fare you well, commend me to my cousin Westmoreland.
If I do, Philip me with a 3-man beetle. A man can no more separate age and covetousness than he can part young limbs and lechery. But the gout galls the one, and the pox pinches the other, and so both the degrees prevent my curses. Boy!
Sir.
What money is in my purse?
7 groats and 2 pence.
I can get no remedy against this consumption of the purse. Borrowing only lingers and lingers it out, but the disease is incurable. Go. Bear this letter to my Lord of Lancaster, this to the Prince, and this to the Earl of Westmoreland. Oh, and this to old Mistress Ursula, whom I have weakly sworn to marry since I perceived the first white hair of my chin. About it, you know where to find me. Pox of this gout, or a gout of this pox, for the one or the other plays the rogue with my great toe. 'Tis no matter if I do halt. I have the wars for my colour, and my pension shall seem the more reasonable. A good wit will make use of anything. I will turn diseases to commodity.
Act 1, Scene 3. York, the Archbishop's Palace. Enter the Archbishop, Thomas Mowbray, Lord Hastings, and Lord Bardolph. Thus have you heard our cause and know our means, and my most noble friends, I pray you all speak plainly your opinions of our hopes. And first, Lord Marshal, what say you to it?
I well allow the occasion of our arms, but gladly would be better satisfied how in our means we should advance ourselves to look with forward bold and big enough upon the power and presence of the king.
Our present musters grow upon the file to 25,000 men of choice, and our supplies live largely in the hope of great Northumberland, whose bosom burns with an incensed fire of injuries.
Question then, Lord Hastings, standeth thus, whether our present 25,000 may hold up head without Northumberland.
With him we may.
Yea, marry, there's the point. But if without him we be thought too feeble, my judgment is we should not step too far till we had his assistance by the hand. For in a theme so bloody faced as this, conjecture, expectation, and surmise of aids uncertain should not be admitted.
It is very true, Lord Bardolph, for indeed it was young Hotspur's cause at Shrewsbury.
It was, my lord, who lined himself with hope, eating the air on promise of supply, flattering himself with the project of a power much smaller than the smallest of his thoughts. And so, with great imagination, proper to madmen, led his powers to death, and winking leapt into destruction.
But by your leave, it never yet did hurt to lay down likelihoods and forms of hope.
Yes, if this present quality of war, indeed the instant action, a cause on foot, lives so in hope. As in early spring, we see the appearing buds which prove fruit. Hope gives not so much warrant as despair that frosts will bite them. When we mean to build, we first survey the plot, then draw the model. And when we see the figure of the house, then we must rate the cost of the erection, which, if we find outweighs ability, what do we then but draw a new model in fewer offices? Or at least desist to build it all? Much more, in this great work, which is almost to pluck a kingdom down, and set another up? Should we survey the plot of situation and the model? Consent upon a sure foundation. Question surveyors. Know our own estate. How able such a work to undergo? To weigh against his opposite? Or else we fortify in papers and in figures, using the names of men instead of men, like one that draws the model of a house beyond his power to build it, who, half through, given o'er, and leaves his part-created cost a naked subject to the weeping clouds, and waste for churlish winter's tyranny.
Grant that our hopes, yet lightly of fair birth, should be stillborn, and that we now possess the utmost man of expectation. I think we are a body strong enough, even as we are, to equal with the king.
What is the king but 25,000?
To us no more, nay, not so much, Lord. Bardolph, for his divisions, as the times do brawl, are in 3 heads, 1 power against the French, and 1 against Glendower. Perforce a 3rd must take up us. So is the unfirm king in 3 divided, and his coffers sound with hollow poverty and emptiness.
That he should draw his several strengths together and come against us in full puissance need not to be dreaded.
If he should do so, he leaves his back unarmed. The French and Welsh baying him at the heels. Never fear that.
Who is it like should lead his forces hither?
The Duke of Lancaster and Westmoreland, against the Welsh himself and Harry Monmouth. But who is substituted against the French, I have no certain notice.
Let us on, and publish the occasion of our arms. The Commonwealth is sick of their own choice. Their over-greedy love hath surfeited. And habitation giddy and unsure hath he that buildeth on the vulgar heart. O thou fond many-wit, with what loud applause didst thou beat heaven with blessing Bolingbroke before he was what thou wouldst have him be. And now, being trimmed in thine own desires, thou beastly feeder art so full of him that thou provokest thyself to cast him up. So, the common dog, didst thou disgorge thy glutton bosom of the royal Richard, and now thou wouldst eat thy dead vomit up and house to find it. What trust is in these times? They that, when Richard lived, would have him die, are now become enamored on his grave. Thou, that threwst dust upon his goodly head, when through proud London he came sighing on after the admired heels of Bolingbroke, Christ thou, O earth, yield us that king again, and take thou this. Thoughts of men accursed. Past and to come seems best, things present worst.
Shall we go draw our numbers and set on?
We are time subject, and time bids be gone.
Act 2, Scene 1. Escheap, a street outside the Boar's Head Tavern. Enter hostess quickly, with 2 officers, Fang and Snare.
Master Fang, have you entered the action?
It is entered.
Where's your yeoman? Is the lusty yeoman? Will he stand to it?
Sirrah, where's Snare?
Oh, Lord, aye, good Master Snare.
Here.
Snare, we must arrest Sir John Falstaff.
Yea, good Master Snare, I have entered him and all.
It may chance cost some of us our lives, for he will stab.
Alas, the day, take heed of him. He stabbed me in mine own house, and that most beastly in good faith. He cares not what mischief he does. If his weapon be out, he will foin like any devil. He will spare neither man, woman, nor child.
If I can close with him, I care not for his thrust.
No, nor I neither. I'll be at your elbow.
But I fist him once, and he come but within my view.
I am undone by his going. I warrant you, he's an infinitive thing upon my score. Good Master Fang, hold him sure. Good Master Snare, let him not scape. He comes continually to Pie Corner, saving not your manhoods, to buy a saddle. He is indebted to dinner at the Lubber's Head in Lombard Street, to Master Smooths, the silkman. I pray you, since my Exion is entered and my case so openly known to the world, let him be brought to his answer. 100 mark is a long one for a poor lone woman to bear, and I have borne and borne and borne, and been fubbed off and fubbed off and fubbed off from this day and that day. That is a shame to be thought on. There is no honesty in such dealing, unless a woman should be made an ass to a beast to bear every knave's wrong. Yonder he comes with that errant Malmsey nose knave Bardolph with him. Do your offices, Master Fang and Master Snare. Do me your offices.
Oh, now, whose mare's dead? What's the matter?
Sir John, I arrest you at the suit of Mistress Quickly.
What? Oh, away, varlets! Draw, Bardolph! Cut me off the villain's head! Throw the queen in the channel!
Throw me in the channel. I'll throw thee in the channel. Wilt thou, thou bastardly rogue? Murder! Ah, thou honeysuckle villain, wilt thou kill God's officers and the king's? Ah, thou honey-seed rogue, thou art a honey-seed, a man-queller, and a woman-queller.
Well, keep them off, Bardolph!
A rescue!
Good people, bring a rescue or two. Thou what? What do thou, rogue? Do thou, hempseed?
Away, you scullion, you rampallion, you fostelarian! I'll tickle your catastrophe.
What is the matter? Keep the peace here, ho!
Oh, good, my lord. Be good to me, I beseech you. Stand to me.
How now, Sir John? What are you brawling here? Doth this become your place, your time, and business? You should have been well on your way to York. Stand from him, fellow. Wherefore hang'st thou upon him?
Oh, most worshipful lord, and please your grace, I am a poor widow of Eastcheap, and he is arrested at my suit.
For what sum?
It is more than for some, my lord. It is for all I have. He hath eaten me out of house and home. He hath put all my substance into that fat belly of his. But I will have some of it out again, or I will ride thee or the knights like a mare.
I think I am as like to ride the mare if I have any vantage of ground to get up.
How comes this, Sir John? Fie! What man of good temper would endure this tempest of exclamation? Are you not ashamed to enforce a poor widow to so rough a course to come by her own?
What is the gross sum that I owe thee?
Mary, if thou wert an honest man, thyself and the money too, didst thou swear to me upon a parcel gilt goblet, sitting in my dolphin chamber at the round table by the sea coal fire upon Wednesday in Weesook week, when the prince broke thy head for liking his father to a singing man of Windsor, didst thou swear to me then, as I was washing thy wound, to marry me and make thee thy lady wife? Canst thou deny it? Did not Goodwith Keach, the butcher's wife, come in and tell me then and call me gossip quickly, coming in to borrow a mess of vinegar, telling us she had a good dish of prawns, whereby didst thou desire to eat some? Whereby I told thee that they were ill for a green wound. And didst thou not, when she was gone downstairs, desire me to be no more so familiarity with such poor people, saying that ere long they should call me madam? And didst thou not kiss me and bid me fetch 30 shillings? I put thee now to thy book oath. Deny it if thou canst.
My lord, this is a poor mad soul, and she says up and down the town that her eldest son is like you. She hath been in good case, and the truth is, poverty hath distracted her. But for these foolish officers, I beseech you, I may have redress against them.
Sir John, I'm well acquainted with your manner of wrenching the truth, cause the false way. It is not a confident brow, nor the throng of words that come with such more than impudent sauciness from you can thrust me from a level of consideration. You have, as it appears to me, practiced upon the easy yielding spirit of this woman and made her serve your uses both in purse and in person.
Yea, in truth, my lord.
Pray thee, peace. Pay her the debt you owe her, and unpay the villainy you have done with her. The one you may do with sterling money, and the other with current repentance.
My lord, I will not undergo this sneap without reply. You call honorable boldness impudent sauciness? If a man will make curtsy and say nothing, he is virtuous. No, my lord, my humble duty remembered, I will not be your suitor. I say to you, I do desire deliverance from these officers, being upon hasty employment in the king's affairs.
You speak as having power to do no wrong, but answer in the effect of your reputation and satisfy the poor woman.
Come hither, hostess.
Now, Master Gower, what news?
The king, my lord, and Harry, Prince of Wales, are near at hand. The rest, the paper tells.
As I am a gentleman.
Faith, you said so before.
As I am a gentleman. Come, no more words of it.
By this heavenly ground I tread on, I must be fain to pawn both my plate and the tapestry of my dining chambers.
Glasses is the only drinking, and for thy walls a pretty slight drollery, or the story of the prodigal with the German hunting and waterwork is worth 1,000 of these bed hangers and these fly-bitten tapestries. Let it be £10 if thou canst, huh? Come, and 'twere not for thy humours, there's not a better wench in England. Go, wash thy face and draw the action. Come, thou must not be in this humour with me. Dost not know me? Come, I know thou wast set on this.
Pray thee, Sir John, let it be but 20 nobles. In faith, I am loath to pawn my plate. So God save me, law.
Let it alone. I'll make other shift. You'll be a fool still.
Well, you shall have it, though I pawn my gown. I hope you'll come to supper. You'll pay me all together.
Will I live? Go with her, Bardolph. Hook on.
Will you have Doll Tearsheet meet you at supper?
No more words. Let's have her.
I have heard better news.
What's the news, my good lord?
Where lay the king tonight?
Passing stroke, my lord.
I hope my lord all's well. What is the news, my lord?
Come all his forces back.
No. 1,500 foot, 500 horse are marched up to my lord of Lancaster against Northumberland and the archbishop.
Comes the king back from Wales, my noble lord?
You shall have letters from me presently. Come, go along with me. Good, Master Gower.
My lord!
What's the matter?
Master Gower, shall I entreat you with me to dinner?
I must wait upon my good lord here. I thank you, good Sir John.
Sir John, you loiter here too long, being you are to take soldiers up in counties as you go.
Will you sup with me, Master Gower?
What foolish master taught you these manners, Sir John?
Master Gower, if they become me not, he was a fool that taught them me. This is the right fencing grace, my lord. Tap, tap, and so part fair.
Now the Lord lighten thee. Thou art a great fool.
Act 2, Scene 2. A street in London. Enter the prince and Poins.
Oh, before God, I am exceeding weary.
It's to come to that. I had thought weariness durst not have attached one of so high blood.
In faith, it does me, though it discolors the complexion of my greatness to acknowledge it. Doth it not show vilely in me to desire small beer?
Why, the prince should not be so loosely studied as to remember so weak a composition.
Belike then my appetite was not princely got, for by my troth I do now remember the poor creature's small beer. But indeed these humble considerations make me out of love with my greatness. What a disgrace is it to me to remember thy name, or to know thy face tomorrow, or to take note how many pair of silk stockings thou hast, with these and those that were thy peach-colored ones, or to bear the inventory of thy shirts, as one for superfluity and another for use. But that the tennis court keeper knows better than I, for it is a low ebb of linen with thee when thou keepest not racket there, as thou hast not done a great while, because the rest of the Low Countries have made a shift to eat up thy Holland, and God knows whether those that bawl out the ruins of thy linen shall inherit his kingdom. But the midwives say the children are not in the fault, whereupon the world increases and kindreds are mightily strengthened.
How ill it follows, after you've labored so hard, that you should talk so idly. Tell me, how many good young princes would do so, their fathers being so sick as yours is at this time?
Shall I tell thee one thing, Poins?
Yes. In faith, let it be an excellent good thing.
It shall serve among wits of no higher breeding than thine.
Go to. I'll stand the push for your one thing that you will tell.
Mary, I tell thee it is not meet that I should be sad, now my father is sick. Albeit I could tell to thee, as to one that pleases me, for fault of a better, to call my friend. I could be sad, and sad indeed, too.
Very hardly upon such a subject.
And by this hand thou thinkest me as far in the devil's book as thou and Falstaff for obduracy and persistency. Let the end try the man. But I tell thee, my heart bleeds inwardly that my father is so sick. And keeping such vile company as thou art hath in reason taken from me all ostentation of sorrow.
The reason?
What wouldst thou think of me if I should weep?
I would think thee a most princely hypocrite.
It would be every man's thought, and thou art a blessed fellow to think as every man thinks. Never a man's thought in the world keeps the roadway better than thine. Every man would think me an hypocrite indeed. And what excites your most worshipful thought to think so?
Why, because you have been so lewd, and so much gaff to Falstaff.
And to thee?
By this light I'm well spoke on. I can hear it with mine own ears. The worst they can say of me is that I'm a second brother, that I'm a proper fellow of my hands. And those two things, I confess, I cannot help. By the mass, here comes Bardolph.
And the boy that I gave Falstaff, he had him from me Christian, and look, the fat villain hath not transformed him ape.
God save your grace.
And yours, most noble Bardolph?
Come, you virtuous ass. You bashful fool, must you be blushing? Wherefore blush you now? What maidenly man-at-arms are you become? Is such a matter to get the Puddlepot's maidenhead?
Pulls me in now, my lord, through a red lattice, and I could discern no part of his face from the window. At last I spied his eyes, and methought he had made 2 holes in the alewife's new petticoat, and so peeped through.
Has not the boy profited?
Oh, away, you whoreson upright rabbit, away!
Away, you rascally Altea's dream, away!
Instruct us, boy. What dream, boy?
Mary, my lord, Altea dreamt she was delivered of a firebrand, and therefore I call him her dream.
A crown's worth of good interpretation. There 'tis, boy.
Oh, that this good blossom could be kept from cankers. Well, there is a 6pence to preserve thee.
And you do not make him be hanged among you, the gallows shall have wrong.
And how doth thy master, Bardolph?
Well, my good lord, he heard of your grace's coming to town. There's a letter for you.
Delivered with good respect. And how doth the Martelmas, your master?
In bodily health, sir.
Mary, the immortal part needs a physician, but that moves not him. Though that be sick, it dies not.
I do allow this Wen to be as familiar with me as my dog, and he holds his place. For look you how he writes.
John Falstaff, knight, every man must know that as oft as he has occasion to name himself, even like those that are king to the king, for they never prick their finger, but they say, there's some of the king's blood spilt. How comes that, says he, that takes upon him not to conceive me? Answer is as ready as a borrower's cap. I am the king's poor cousin, sir.
Nay, they will be kin to us, or they will fetch it from Japheth. But to the letter. Sir John Falstaff, knight, to the son of the king nearest his father, Harry, Prince of Wales, greeting.
What? This is the certificate.
Yes. I will imitate the honorable Romans in brevity.
He sure means brevity and breath. Short-winded.
I commend me to thee, I commend thee, and I leave thee. Be not too familiar with Poins, for he misuses thy favours so much that he swears thou art to marry his sister Nell. Repent at idle times as thou mayest, and so farewell. Thine by yea and no, in as much as to say as thou usest him. Jack Falstaff with my familiars, John with my brothers and sisters, and Sir John with all Europe.
My lord, I'll steep this letter in sack and make him eat it.
That's to make him eat 20 of his words. But do you use me thus, Ned? Must I marry your sister?
Oh, God send the wench no worse fortune, but I never said so.
Well, thus we play the fools with the time, and the spirits of the wise sit in the clouds and mock us. Is your master here in London?
Yea, my lord.
Where's Upsy? Doth the old boar feed in the old Frank?
At the old place, my lord, in Escheap.
What company?
Ephesians, my lord, of the old church.
Sup any women with him?
None, my lord, but old Mistress Quickly and Mistress Doll Tearsheet.
What pagan may that be?
A proper gentlewoman, sir, and a kinswoman of my master's.
Even such kin as the parish heifers are to the town bull. Shall we steal upon them, Ned, at supper?
I am your shadow, my lord. I'll follow you.
Sirrah, you, boy, and Bardolph, no word to your master that I am yet come to town. There's for your silence.
I have no tongue, sir.
And for mine, sir, I will govern it.
Very well. Go. This Doll Tearsheet should be some road.
I warrant you, as common as the way between St. Albans and London.
How might we see Falstaff bestow himself tonight in his true colors, and not ourselves be seen?
Put on 2 leather jerkins and aprons, and wait upon him at his table as drawers.
From a god to a bull, a heavy dissension. It was Jove's case, from a prince to apprentice, a low transformation that shall be mine, for in everything the purpose must weigh with the folly. Follow me, Ned.
Act 2, Scene 3. Northumberland, Walkworth Castle. Enter Northumberland, his wife, and Lady Percy, Hotspur's widow. I pray thee, loving wife and gentle daughter, give even way unto my rough affairs. Put not you on the visage of the times, and be like them to Percy troublesome.
I have given over. I will speak no more. Do what you will. Your wisdom be your guide.
Alas, sweet wife, my honor is at pawn, and but my going, nothing can redeem it.
Oh, yet, for heaven's sake, go not to these wars. The time was, Father, when you broke your word, when you were more endeared to it than now, when your own Percy, when my heart dear Harry, threw many a northward look to see his father bring up his powers, but he did long in vain. Who then persuaded you to stay at home? There were 2 honors lost, yours and your son's. For yours may heavenly glory brighten it. For his, it sucked upon him as the sun in a gray vault of heaven, and by his light did all the chivalry of England move to do brave acts. He was indeed the glass wherein the noble youth did dress themselves. He had no legs that practiced not his gait, and speaking thick, which nature made his blemish, became the accents of the valiant. For those who could speak low and tardily would turn their own perfection to abuse, to seem like him, so that in speech, in gait, in diet, in affections of delight, in military rules, humors of blood, he was the mark and glass, copy and book that fashioned others and him. Oh, wondrous him. Oh, miracle of men, him did you leave second to none, unseconded by you, to look upon the hideous god of war in disadvantage, to abide afield where nothing but the sound of Hotspur's name did seem defensible. So you left him. Never, never do his ghost the wrong, to hold your honor more precise and nice with others than with him. Let him alone. The marshal and the archbishop are strong. Had my sweet Harry had but half their numbers, today might I, hanging on Hotspur's neck, have talked of Monmouth's grave.
Beshrew your heart, fair daughter. You do draw my spirits from me, with new lamenting ancient oversights. But I must go and meet with danger there, or it will seek me in another place, and find me worse provided.
Oh, fly to Scotland, till that the nobles of the armored comrades have their puissance made a little taste.
If they get ground and vantage of the king, then join you with them like rib of steel to make strength stronger. But for all our loves, first let them try themselves. So did your son. He was so suffered, so came I a widow. And never shall length of life enough to read upon remembrance with mine eyes, that it may grow and sprout as high as heaven, for recordation to my noble husband.
Come, come, go in with me. 'Tis with my mind as with the tide swelled up into his height that makes a still stand, running neither way. Fain would I go to meet the archbishop, but many thousand reasons hold me back. I will resolve for Scotland. There am I, till time and vantage crave my company. Act 2, Scene 4. Escheap, the Boar's Head Tavern. Enter Francis, and another drawer. Oh, what the devil hast thou brought there? Applejohns? Thou knowest Sir John cannot endure an Applejohn.
Mass, thou sayest true. The prince once set a dish of apple johns before him and told him there were 5 more Sir Johns, and putting off his hat, said, I will now take leave of these 6 dry, round, old, withered knights. It angered him to the heart, but he hath forgot that.
Why then, cover and set them down, and see if thou canst find out Sneak's noise. Mistress Tearsheet would fain hear some music. Dispatch. The room where they supped is too hot. They'll come in straight.
Sirrah, here will be the prince and master Poins anon, and they will put on 2 of our jerkins and aprons, and Sir John must not know of it. Bardolph hath brought word.
By the mass, will be here old Udis. It will be an excellent stratagem.
I'll see if I can find out Sneak.
Oh, if faith, sweetheart, methinks you are now in excellent good temporality. Your pulsage beats as extraordinarily as a heart would desire, and your color, I warrant you, is as red as any rose in good faith. La, but in faith, you have drunk too much canaries. And that's a marvelous searching wine. And it perfumes the blood ere one can say, what's this? How do you now?
Better than I was.
Why, that's well said. A heart's worth good gold. Lo, here comes Sir John.
Queen Arthur first in court, empty the Jordan, and was a worthy king. How now, Mistress Doll?
Sick of a calm, yea, good faith.
So is all her sect, and they be once in a calm, they are sick.
Damn you, you muddy rascal. Is that all the comfort you give me?
Oh, you make fat rascals, Mistress Doll.
I make them. A glutton and diseases make them. I make them not.
If the cook helped to make the gluttony, you helped to make the diseases, Doll. We catch of you, Doll, we catch of you. Grant that, my poor virtue, grant that.
Yea, joy, our chains and our jewels.
Your brooches, pearls, and ouches. For to serve bravely is to come halting off, you know. To come off the breach with his pike bent bravely, and to surgery bravely, to venture upon the charged chambers.
Hang yourself, you muddy conger, hang yourself.
By my troth, this is the old fashion. You two never meet, but you fall to some discord. You are both, in good truth, as rheumatic as 2 dry toasts. You cannot bear one with another's confirmities. What of a good year? One must bear, and you must be you. You, the weaker vessel, as they say, the emptier vessel.
Can a weak, empty vessel bear such a huge, full hogshead? There's a whole merchant's venture of Bordeaux stuff in him. You have not seen a hulk better stuffed than the whole. Come, I'll be friends with thee, Jack. Thou art going to the wars, and whether I shall see thee again or no, there is nobody cares.
Sir, Archon Pistols below, and would speak with you.
Swaggering rascal, let him not come hither. It's a foul-mouthed rogue in England.
If he swagger, let him not come here. No, by my faith. I must live among my neighbors. I'll know swaggerers. I am in good name and fame with the very best. Shut the door. There come no swaggerers here. I have not lived all this while to have swaggering now. Shut the door, I pray you.
Dost thou hear, hostess?
Pray, pacify yourself, Sir John. There comes no swaggerers here.
Dost thou hear, it is mine ancient?
Tilly Valley, Sir John, ne'er tell me, and your ancient swaggerer comes not in my doors. I was before Master Tisick, the deputy, the other day, and as he said to me, 'twas no longer ago than Wednesday last, in good faith. Neighbor, quickly, says he. Master Dumb, our minister, was by then. Neighbor, quickly, says he, receive those that are civil, for, says he, you are an ill name. Now, he said so, I could tell, whereupon, for, says he, you are an honest woman and well thought on. Therefore, take heed what guests you receive. Receive, says he. No swaggering companions. There comes here none. You would bless to hear what he said. No, I'll no swaggerers.
He's no swaggerer, hostess, a tame cheater in faith. You may stroke him as gently as a puppy greyhound. He'll not swagger with a Barbary hen if her feathers turn back in any show of resistance. Call him up, drawer.
Cheater, you call him. I will bar no honest man, nor no cheater, but I do not love swaggering. By my troth, I am the worse when one says swagger. Feel, masters, how I shake. Look, I warrant you.
So you do, hostess?
Do I? Yea, in very truth, and it were an aspen leaf. I cannot abide swaggerers.
God save you, Sir John.
Welcome, ancient pistol. Here, pistol, I charge you with a cup of sack. Do you discharge upon mine hostess?
I will discharge upon her, Sir John, with 2 bullets.
She is pistol-proof, so you shall not hardly offend her.
I'll drink no proofs, nor no bullets. I'll drink no more than will do me good, for no man's pleasure I.
Then to you, Mistress Dorothy, I will charge you.
Charge me? I scorn you, scurvy companion. What, you poor, base, rascally, cheating, luck-linen mate? Away, you mouldy rogue! Away! Are you meat for your master?
I know you, Mistress Dorothy.
Away, you cut-purse rascal, you filthy bung, away. By this wine, I'll thrust my knife in your mouldy chaps and you play this saucy cutter with me. Away, you bottle-ale rascal, you basket-hill stale juggler. You since when, I pray you, sir, the gods lied, with 2 points on your shoulder. Much.
God let me not live, but I will murder your ruff for this.
No more, pistol. I would not have you go off here. Discharge yourself of our company, pistol.
Oh, good Captain Pistol, not here. Sweet Captain.
Captain? Thou abominable damn cheater, art thou not ashamed to be called captain? Captains, well, of my mind, they would truncheon you out for taking their names upon you before you have earned them. You, a captain, you slave, for what? For tearing a poor horse rough in a boarding house? He, a captain. Hang him, rogue. He lives upon mouldy stewed prunes and jarred cakes. Captain, God's light. These villains will make the word as odious as the word occupy, which was an excellent good word before it was so sorted. Therefore, captains had need look to it.
Prithee, go down, good ancient.
Hark thee hither, Mistress Doll.
Not I. I'll tell thee what, Corporal Bardolph. I could tear her. I'll be revenge of her.
Prithee, go down.
I'll see her damned first to Pluto's damned lake, by this hand to the infernal deep with Erebus and tortures vile also. Hold hook and line, I say. Down, dogs, down! Fates, have we not Hiren here?
Good, Captain Pistol. Be quiet. 'Tis very late in faith. I beseech you now, aggravate your core.
These be good humors indeed. Shall pack horses and hollow pampered jades of Asia, which cannot go but 30 mile a day, compare with Caesars and with cannibals and Trojan Greeks? Nay, rather damn them with King Cerberus and let the welkin roar. Shall we fall foul for toys?
By my troth, Captain, these are very bitter words.
Begone, good ancient, this will grow to a brawl anon.
Die, men like dogs, give crowns to the pins. Have we not Hiren here?
Oh, my word, Captain, there's such none here. What a good year. What do you think I would deny her? For God's sake, be quiet.
Then feed and be fat, my fair Callipolis. Come, give some sack. Si fortuna me tormente, spirato me contento. Fear we broadsides? No, let the fiend give fire. Give some sack, and sweetheart, lie thou there. Come we to full points here, and are et ceteras nothings?
Pistol, I would be quiet.
Oh, sweet knife, I kissed thy nief. What, we have seen the 7 stars?
For God's sake, thrust him downstairs. I cannot endure such a fustian rascal.
Thrust him downstairs? Know we not Galloway nags?
Quoit him down, Bardolph, like a shove-groat shilling. Nay, and he do nothing but speak nothing, he shall be nothing here.
Come get you downstairs.
What, shall we have incision? Shall we imbrue? The death rock me asleep, abridge my doleful days. Why then let grievous, ghastly, gaping wounds untwine the sisters 3. Come, Atropos, I say.
Here's goodly stuff toward.
Give me my rapier, boy.
I pray thee, Jack, I pray thee, do not draw.
Get you downstairs.
Here's a goodly tumult. I forswear keeping house afore I'll be in these turrets and frights. So murder I warrant now. Alas, you put up your naked weapons, put up your naked weapons.
I pray thee, Jack, be quiet. The rascal's gone. Ah, you whoreson little valiant villain, you.
Oh, are you not hurt in the groin? Methought he made a shrewd thrust at your belly.
Have you turned him out of doors?
Yea, sir, the rascal's drunk. You have hurt him, sir, the shoulder.
A rascal to brave me.
Ah, you sweet little rogue, you. Alas, poor Abe, how thou sweatst. Come, let me wipe thy face. Come on, you horse and chops. Oh, rogue, say, I love thee. And what is valorous as Hector of Troy, with 5 of Agamemnon, and 10 times better than the 9 worthies. Oh, villain.
Ah, rascally slave. I'll toss the rogue in a blanket.
Do, and thou darest for thy heart, and thou dost, I'll canvass thee between a pair of sheets.
The music is calm, sir.
Let them play. Play, sirs. Sit on my knee, doll. A rascally, bragging slave, the rogue fled from me like quicksilver.
Faith and thou followed him like a church. Now, horse and little tidy Bartholomew, ball pig. When wilt thou leave fighting a days and foining a night, and begin to patch up thine old body for heaven?
Peace, good doll. Do not speak like a death's head. Do not bid me remember mine end.
Sirrah, what humours the prince of?
A good, shallow young fella. He would have made a good pantler. He would have chipped bread well.
They say Poins has a good wit.
He a good wit? Hang him, baboon. His wit's as thick as Tewkesbury mustard. There's no more conceit in him than is in a mallet.
Why does the prince love him so, then?
Because their legs are both of a bigness, and he plays it quite swell, and eats conger and fennel, and drinks off candles' ends for flapdragons, and rides the wild mare with the boys, and jumps upon joint stools, and swears with a good grace, and wears his boots very smooth, like unto the sign of the leg, and breeds no bait with telling of discreet stories, and such other gambol faculties he has that show a weak mind and an able body, for the which the prince admits him. For the prince himself is such another. The weight of a hair will turn the scales between their avoirdupois.
Not this knave of a wheel have his ears cut off?
Let's beat him before his hall.
Look where the withered elder hath not his poll clawed like a parrot.
Is it not strange that desire should so many years outlive performance?
Kiss me, doll.
Saturn and Venus this year in conjunction. What says the almanac to that?
And look, whether the fiery Tregan, his man, be not lisping to his master's old tables, his notebook, his counsel keeper.
Oh, thou dost give me flattering busses.
By my troth, I kiss thee with most constant heart.
Oh, I am old. I am old.
I love thee better than I love Eriscare, the young boy of them all.
Oh, what stuff wilt thou have a kirtle of, huh? I shall receive money on Thursday. Thou shalt have a cap tomorrow. A merry song. Come, it grows late. We'll to bed. Oh, thou'lt forget me when I am gone.
By my troth, thou wouldst set me a-weeping, and not say so. Proof that ever I dress myself handsome till thy return. Well, hearken at the end.
Come, sack! Some sack, Francis.
Anon, sir.
Huh? A bastard son of the king's? And art not thou Poins his brother?
Why, thou globe of sinful continents, what a life dost thou lead?
Better than thou. I am a gentleman, thou art a drawer.
Very true, sir. And I come to draw you out by the ears.
Oh, Lord, preserve thy good grace. By my troth, welcome to London. Now the Lord bless that sweet face of thine. Oh, Jesu, are you come from Wales?
Thou horse on mad compound of majesty, by this light flesh and correct blood thou art welcome.
Oh, you fat fool, I scorn you.
My lord, he will drive you out of your revenge and turn all to a merriment if you take not the heat.
You horse and candle mind, you, how vilely did you speak of me even now before this honest, virtuous, civil gentlewoman?
God's blessing of your good heart, and so she is by my troth.
Thou, hear me?
Yea, and you knew me as you did when you ran away by Gad's Hill. You knew I was at your back and spoken on purpose to try my patience.
No, not so. I did not think thou wast within hearing.
I shall drive you then to confess the willful abuse, and then I know how to handle you.
No abuse, Hal. On mine honor, no abuse.
Not to dispraise me and call me pantler and bread chipper and I know not what.
No abuse, Hal.
No abuse?
No abuse, Ned, in the world, honest Ned, none. I just praised him before the wicked, that the wicked might not fall in love with thee, in which doing I have done the part of a careful friend and a true subject. And thy father is to give me thanks for it. No abuse, Hal. None, Ned, none. No faith, boys, none.
See now whether pure fear and entire cowardice doth not make thee wrong this virtuous gentlewoman to close with us. Is she of the wicked? Is thine hostess here of the wicked? Or is thy boy of the wicked? Or honest Bardolph, whose zeal burns in his nose, of the wicked?
Answer, thou dead elm, answer.
The fiend hath pricked down Bardolph irrecoverable, and his face is Lucifer's pretty kitchen, where he doth nothing but roast malt worms. For the boy, there is a good angel about him, but the devil blinds him too.
For the women?
For one of them, she's in hell already and burns, poor souls. For the other, I owe her money, and whether she be damned for that, I know not.
No, I warrant you.
No, I think thou art not. I think thou art quit for that. Mary, there is another indictment upon thee for suffering flesh to be eaten in thy house contrary to the law, for the which I think thou wilt howl.
All victuallers do so. What's a joint of mutton or two in a whole Lent?
You, gentlemen?
What says your grace?
His grace says that which his flesh rebels against.
Who knocks so loud at the door? Look to the door there, Francis.
Widow, how now? What news?
The king, your father, is at Westminster, and there are 20 weak and wearied posts come from the north, and as I came along, I met and overtook 12 captains, bareheaded, sweating and knocking at the taverns, and asking everyone for Sir John Falstaff.
My heaven coins, I feel me much to blame so idly to refrain the precious time when tempest of commotion, like the south born with black vapor, doth begin to melt and drop upon our bare unarmed heads. Give me my sword and cloak. Falstaff, good night.
Now comes in the sweetest morsel of the night, and we must hence and leave it unpicked. More knocking at the door? How now, what's the matter?
You must await a court, sir, presently. A dozen captains stay at door for you, sir.
Pay the musicians, sirrah. Farewell, hostess. Farewell, doll. You see, my good wenches, how men of merit are sought after. The undeserver may sleep when the man of action is called on. Farewell, good wenches. If I be not sent away post, I will see you again ere I go.
I cannot speak. If my heart be not ready to burst. Well, sweet Jack, have a care of thyself.
Farewell. Farewell.
Well, fare thee well. I have known thee these 29 years come peascod time, but an honester, truer-hearted man. Well, fare thee well.
Mistress Tearsheet?
What's the matter?
Bid Mistress Tearsheet come to my master.
Oh, run, doll. Run, good doll. Come, she comes, blubbered, yea. Will you come, doll?